Another boot sale done. Waste of time, honestly. I think it's because I'm in a big white van. Everyone thinks I'm selling house clearance stuff or something, and I'm not giving it away. But it's all stuff out my garage that's just been gathering, and all the stuff out my life. Maybe I should just go with a wheelbarrow. I had a woman come up to me. She's like, I said, oh, we were talking. She said something, and I was like, oh yeah, it's quiet here. They're not spending any money. And she said, I normally do Easter Compton. She said, and they spend money down there, but they're always wanting a bargain. I said, all right, yes, well, that's what, everybody wants a bargain. And she went, all these foreigners. I went, oh yeah. Yeah, all these foreigners that come here, like, I understand. I said, I went to Tenerife like 30 years ago, and 40 years ago, actually. She's like, yeah, and I said, I didn't have any cutlery and no plates or no bedding. And somebody told me about a boot sale that were on, and I went and I told everybody, I haven't got a lot of money, I got some real bargains. But I managed to kit out the house. She said, oh, right, yeah. I said, that's what they're doing. They're all coming here with out, and they're going to a boot sale, and they're having to get stuff as cheap as they can. She's like, right. But why are they coming here anyway? Why are they coming here? They don't even bother speaking the language. I said, I know where you're hearing that. I said, and that's not true. I said, most of them speak English. They're coming here because they speak English, because they're from what used to be countries part of the Commonwealth, which was part of the British, the Empire, right? And so a lot of their family members and friends live in this country. So they come here not because they want to, it's because they know something of the culture. They know the language, right? They know the Queen or the King now, right? So blame him. They come here going, King, he owes us. And I said to her, I said, like, people have got to live somewhere. I said, if you were running from a bombs being dropped, I said, it's us that's dropping bombs on them. If they're coming here, they're obviously desperate. Oh, I wouldn't do that. I'd never leave my country. You would if it was being bombed. No, I wouldn't. I was a nurse. I worked in the NHS, and, I said, right, well, that's for the NHS. That's been underfunded by the Tories. Well, actually, everybody, really. They've all underfunded it. Labour's doing it now. They're making out that they're doing something. No, they're selling it all off piecemeal. And this woman's obviously a big fan of Farage, because what she said next just made me want to puke. They're not coming over here taking all the jobs. I said, if I've worked in all kinds of industries, right? And the NHS needs trained doctors and surgeons. I said, how many of your friends are trained surgeons? None of them, because they can't afford the education. I said, the British education system is shit for a reason. It's just training a load of drones to go out and do jobs for now, right? It's not giving you the education to be an entrepreneur or a brain surgeon or whatever it is, right? You have to go and find that yourself. If you want that, you have to get your education yourself. It's not being given to you. And the ones that are getting it, they're going to private school, or the parents have got money and they're paying for them to go to university and get the degrees and everything. And what happens is the government cut funding for the NHS, and these people get offered better jobs elsewhere in other countries. So we haven't got enough of them here. They're either working privately now or they're working abroad. So then we have to get people who work from abroad, who live abroad, to come and work over here, work for less money, which is more to them. That's why I said, during Brexit, I said, because of Brexit, we've got 500,000 more Indians and Pakistanis with visas working in this country. I said, because all these daft racists voted for Brexit, thinking it was going to control the borders, but because everybody's gone back home to the EU, they had to get more dark people, the kind they don't like, right? I think that's hilarious. We warned them, they never listened. And there she is, spitting in my face, saying how, as a nurse, all these Ethiopians and they're all dirty and I said, no, they're not. She said, no, they're ignorant. They don't talk to you. I said, maybe because you're like an ignorant racist and you're horrible, they don't talk to you. Not because they're ignorant. Maybe they just don't want to talk to you, right? I'd have them all bombed in the channel, bombed in the dinghies. I said, you're not a nurse anymore, and that's good for everybody. I said, whoever you're listening to, Nigel Farage and Reform and all them evil, hurtful bastards, immigrants are not the problem. Without immigrants, this country is nothing. It's just full of dumb white people, right? So read a fucking book and don't give me none of your racist drivel that you've heard some posh bloke tell you or some newspaper. Look around, everybody's struggling. Everybody. And it's not because other poor people in boats are the fucking problem. It's wankers in yachts that are the problem and in jets. People that don't pay their way. So don't come up to me with your racist shit. Stick it up your arse. Find common ground and agree on something. And what we agree on is the government is fucking us all over and the NHS is on its knees because of them. And I'm grateful to all immigrants who come to this country and try to make it better and pay their way and get nothing back. They get no thanks. Thank you. I fucking love you. And racist Karen, go fuck yourself.